Bob's a ghost. Bob Marley right now is a ghost. As far as visuals of Bob, at laying my own eyeballs on him in the field, I haven't seen him since the day I saw him, whatever that was, till almost 2 weeks ago. And it's maddening. I mean, I've got blinds and stands in what I think are the right spots. It's just, he's doing the same thing he did last year. He just becomes a ghost. I'm running out of days. The rut is in that funky point. All these other states I've been hearing are on fire. Illinois is on fire, Missouri, Iowa, Ohio. We're not on fire here by any means. These deer are at least 10 days, if not 2 weeks away from full-blown, full-bore rut. I think we got an early doe or two that might be coming in, but we're not anywhere near where some of these other states are. So between that and the limited time, it pains me to say it and it pains me to think about it, but I'm gonna have to let Bob go for a little while. I'm gonna have to turn my focus, just because I have such limited time to hunt this year, to another deer, to something that has a little bit more consistency to it. Right now, where I'm finding consistency is on shakes, being around that hurricane timber, high banks, down to North Whirly-Bird. I mean, that's as close as I can get right now, so I'm gonna have to let Bob go for the time being and start to chase shakes. Decided to jump up here in the junkyard this morning. Got a dead north wind, which is actually pretty good. So Shakes is in here. He's a hell of a deer. Chris had a great battle with him last year. He seems right now to kind of be on like a 3 to 4 day. He'll show up in here every 3 to 4 days. It's just frustrating for me because within the next 10 days down here, this rut should really kick into gear and finally get underway. And I have to leave. I'm not going to be here. I've been left chasing my tail a little bit, trying to focus on Bob. And then Shakes, so it's kind of been a little bit of a back and forth, but we've got today and tomorrow left. We've got good winds, we've got good weather. See if we can't pull something out here and pull out a miracle.
Casey has narrowed down his chase to only shakes for the remainder of his time in Kansas. The peak of the rut hasn't quite hit the Kansas 4K, and with limited days left to hunt, he's eagerly waiting for the switch to happen. Rival Wild is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Millennium Tree Stands. Comfort you deserve. Safety you can trust. Reconyx. See what you've been missing. Rack 1. Grow, Scout, Hunt. Ramcat Broadheads. Hits like a ram. Cuts like a cat. Garmin. Oz by ScentLock, Active Odor Destroyer. Banks Outdoors. Winchester, Repeating Arms and Ammunition. America's Best Bowstrings. Peace of mind is priceless. Rival Wild is also brought to you by these fine partners. This segment of Rival Wild is presented by Diamondback Truck Covers. With his mind set on only targeting shakes, Casey does a quick camera run and uncovers some much-needed intel on the mythical giant that keeps eluding everyone.
I did uncover up in high banks I've got shakes in the high banks on the 3rd, and then I've also got shakes in high banks on the 4th at 6 p.m. and he's back in there at 2 a.m. on the 6th, which is this morning. He was in there at 2 a.m. And then I also have him down at North Worley, which is not all that far from the high banks. I've got him at the North Worley feeder down there. It's highly likely that he could be traveling from the top of Hurricane and high banks down to the Whirlybird, North Whirlybird, into Whirlybird, and then back around through Junkyard and just making a loop right there. But the most consistent he's been has been up in high banks. So we got a good wind for it tonight. I got to double check it, but I'm pretty sure we've got a good wind. We're going to set high banks tonight. That's the plan. Bob is just, I don't know. He's all over the place. Up here in the high bank so far. Good looking 2-year-old 8. These deer have been coming out of the top of Hurricane right here on this timber. Sit tight and ride it out. And we've got Shakes has been on this camera going through here 6 times in the last 5 days. All different times, nothing during daylight, but hopefully we see him. Time's ticking.
Another slow but promising night. Laying eyes on a good up-and-comer is always a good thing. The rut still hasn't hit Kansas, but colder temps on the way should get deer up and moving. The next morning it seems the switch is flipped as Casey glasses bucks from afar all throughout the Kansas property and uncovers a new deer he's dubbed Louie. With most of the movement around the junkyard, Casey decides that's his best play for the evening sit.
I'll keep my hand here on your back. I won't move it while you sleep. The shaking hours have settled down, down, down.
Well, she's getting down to the wire. Cutting it pretty close here. Every minute that passes, I get closer to having to leave. I'm just waiting for a deer to step out. I mean, it's gotta happen. Today's weather's been awesome. It's been a high of like 42. Sun came out here this afternoon, but this morning was just a madhouse. There were deer everywhere. And dog and does too. So we'll see what tonight's action brings. I'm hoping for the same. You know, usually in the junkyard here, the does come here on their way out to the big green field that's down at the bottom. And usually if they stop here, the bucks will show up, especially this time of year. They know they come here and kind of stage before they head out into the bottom. So that's what I'm hoping for. And if not tonight, then I'm gonna give myself tomorrow morning and maybe tomorrow evening. We'll see how it goes. Every bone in my body wants to stay here right now. Some days you're the bug, some days you're the windshield, and I'm real sick and tired of being the bug. Need to be the windshield for once. It's gonna happen. I can feel it in my bones.
Down for the night.
This segment of Rival Wild has been presented by Banks Outdoors. This segment of Rival Wild is presented by America's Best Bowstrings. Peace of mind is priceless. The junkyard. It's proven, and on this night it just so happens to have a couple mature bucks in the area.
Definitely shakes right there. Yep, that shakes. Oh boy. Yeah. That other buck's going at Louie, look at him. They're going at shakes. Dude, Louie's a freaking stud. He heard it. He's looking. He's looking right at us. Okay. Fired him up. We're too far away. Things just got real interesting in here. I had Louie come to my north, probably 80 yards, and make a scream. And then he popped out down at the bottom, down by the barn. Shakes is also down there. And they both are doing the dance right now, bristled up, and they were kind of dancing around. And Louie was actually pushing Shakes around. Louie is a behemoth of a body. Big frame, 8-point. And they're dancing around each other. All the does are down there in that green field already. We had leaner 8, that young 8 that we had in front of us in high range. It shakes. It shakes. It's 100% shakes. He must have got bumped up out of there just like we were talking. Louie was pushing him all over the place. Here he comes, he's right on her tail. I'm good. I'm good, Case. Yes, I'm good. I can't shoot him right there. He's too head on. He's got to open up. You gotta be kidding me. Did that really just happen? Yeah.
Nothing in life is guaranteed. On this night it rings true as Casey's forced to let down on the biggest whitetail he's ever had an opportunity at due to an equipment failure. This segment of Rival Wild has been presented by Oz, Active Odor Destroyer. This segment of Rival Wild is presented by Garmin. Thoughts and what-ifs fill Casey's mind, making for a long, sleepless night. For his final sit, he decides to head back into the junkyard, hoping Shakes or Louie are nearby.
That's it. That's a wrap. I've stuck it out as long as I can, and now I gotta go. I won't be able to hunt again until right around Thanksgiving. It's still hard to believe that I had Shakes in here at 28 yards and couldn't get a shot. Put all this time and effort into the farm and managing deer and running cameras and stands and everything that we do. And you get an opportunity like that on a deer of a lifetime. I mean, I've been pretty fortunate to shoot a lot of great deer. Shakes is something special. He lives to fight another day. The rivalry continues, I guess. It's probably the best way to look at it. There's one thing you can count on. It's that when I get back to Kansas, I will be chasing Shakes or Bob or Sundown or somebody. Just not gonna let it stop me. Gotta keep going. So I've moved on to Shakes, and Shakes is also a deer that's been around for a couple of years. We've got him on camera now. This will be the third year running, and I decided I'm gonna chase him, and lo and behold, the second night we decide to get in there, Shake shows up, and he came our way. He did everything right. He stepped out where he needed to. He started bumping does around. He went down in the ditch in front the junkyard. He came back up. I mean, he was all over in there doing his thing, and he had no idea that we were there. Everything was setting up to be just perfect. You know, he came up and he stopped in front of me, and equipment malfunction. You know, the reality of the situation is not everything that we use out there in the field is fail-proof. It's just the last time you ever want it to fail is when you have a 200-inch whitetail standing at 20-some yards in front of you. I mean, talk about a heartbreaker. I knew that limb crack the minute I came back. I got to full draw and I got anchored and I felt that pop and I heard it, and I knew exactly what happened, and I was terrified to let that arrow loose. So the best course of action was to just let the bow down and let the night play out. So he stood there, he did his thing, he lip curled, he chased a doe all around, and then he disappeared into the timber. And that's the last that I saw of him that night. So, you know, again, it's an equipment malfunction. It happens. It's the reality of what we do out there. It just could not have happened at a worse time.
Is you.
Do you want to stay connected to all things Keefer Brothers? Visit KeeferBros.com for an in-depth look at what we use in the field, promo deals on products, and other videos. Also, check out our YouTube channel and social media for a first-hand look into all things Keefer Brothers. Closed captioning is brought to you by Hunter Safety System. Saving lives is what we do.